Here with reaction, Fox News military analyst General Jack Keane. Somalia wasn't successful and Yemen wasn't successful. And according to reports, they're surprised at what happened in Yemen. How could they be caught off guard there too, on top of everything else?
Well, it is a significant loss. You know, operationally, as you mentioned, it's definitely going to impact our operations against AQAP. When we lose an embassy, Sean, it obviously is a diplomatic post, but what it also is, particularly in a contested area as Yemen is, it's an all-source intelligence center. All of our intelligence agencies are represented there, and our Joint Special Operations Command, JSOC, is represented there as well. That is all gone. So our eyes in Yemen are now, that screen has gone blank, tragically so. Why did that happen? We underestimated one thing and one thing only, and that is the Iranians. This is a huge strategic gain for the Iranians. We have lost the pro-government, as you indicated. The Iranians are the gain here. The Houthis are a militant proxy of the Iranian government. They use the Quds Force and other reinforcements to assist in driving the pro-government troops out of Yemen.
Here's what I'm trying to understand, because the president gives this speech and says he wants the use of force and against ISIS, etc., but yet it undermines the 2002, which is far more broad and ongoing and would give him much more authority. He states no ground troops, no combat troops. He uses language that it will not authorize the use of armed forces in enduring offensive combat operations. How do you define that? And then he says it's over in 3 years. It hasn't worked. In other words, his plan right now has not worked. They've gained more territory. So why would he restrict the ability to actually go out and win the war?
Because that is his pattern since 2009 in Afghanistan, when he didn't give Generals McChrystal and Petraeus the troops they needed, and then he pulled them out a little bit after a year. That pattern evolved again in Libya by not putting forward air controllers so we could have effective airstrikes against a third-rate military. The last 6 months, Sean, against ISIS in Iraq and Syria, we've been using minimum amount of combat forces to assist the Iraqis. No partner in Syria. This is the way that the Obama administration characterizes the use of force. And your point is the essential one that's here. And that is, they look at ground forces as the third rail, Sean. It's something that we should not touch. But yet, the only way, and the American people are saying it in the polls that you're taking, 68% of them believe you have to have a ground force to win. The only way we can defeat ISIS in Iraq and in Syria is with an effective ground force. And that's the very thing that's the third rail, and they don't want to be used.
All right, so the president's saying no war, no combat troops. He puts a timetable in place with lots of restrictions. I'm trying to understand how he expects to actually win this, because there's no definition of victory. He can't even identify who the enemy is. So what is the point then? Might as well not do anything.
Well, I think the point is this. I mean, it's hard to get in somebody's head, but I think you have to just judge the actions. And here's the conclusions I draw from the actions and also what this AUMF is about.
All right.
First of all, he wants the politicians to underwrite this strategy, which is not decisive. Number two, he does not want anything to interfere with the nuclear deal he wants to make with Iran. Therefore, no ground strategy, no partner in Syria, because the Iranians would push back. This is his #1 foreign policy objective, the nuclear deal with Iran. ISIS takes a back seat. He will never say it. He can't talk about it publicly in that vein, but it's the truth of it. He is kicking this thing down to the next administration.
So political cover, no commitment to win, and he becomes Bibi's worst enemy and not helping stability in the region. All right. Thank you, General. Appreciate it. Thank you.